In our last session, a Real Love Institute member posed the following question.
Dear Greg, my parents argue all the time about everything. Money, us kids, my dad being gone too much, my dad's affair, whatever. I hate it. But at least I can go in another room and avoid most of it, you know? But what I really hate is that they're always talking to me about each other. And it's always bad stuff. And they tell different stories about the same thing that happened. Sometimes I learn later that they've lied to me. I don't know how to tell them that I don't want them to talk to me about each other anymore.
In response, I suggested that your parents were just using you in their little battle to get as much imitation love as they could, mostly in the form of power. It's selfish and hurtful, but in the absence of real love, it's also quite understandable. So, what can you do about this little war that your parents are conducting? You do not have to keep playing the part that they've assigned to you. You do not have to keep being wounded in this battle. You need to speak to them immediately. But remember that they're both just empty and afraid. They're both just drowning. So don't speak to them from a place of being offended. Don't criticize or attack them. If you do, they'll just feel more empty and afraid. And then they'll get defensive and very likely make things more unpleasant. I understand this could be a little uncomfortable, telling your own parents to stop doing something to you. And partly you're uncomfortable because you're afraid of hurting their feelings, and then they might get irritated at you. And then they might love you less. That's the primary reason you've let them do this to you for so long. But you really can't lose here. Remember, with what they're doing now, they're already making you feel unloved. So you really do need to say something. One thing that always adds a little to our discomfort in any strange situation is not knowing what to say. So, in order to make this a little easier for you, let me suggest some words that you could use in speaking to them. You could say these words the next time one of them starts talking about the other one, or you could sit down with them one at a time just for the purpose of having this conversation. So, let's imagine that you're sitting with one of them. Then you could say something like this. Mom or Dad, I love both of you. So when you talk about Dad, I feel really uncomfortable. I know he's made lots of mistakes. I don't doubt anything that you've said about him. But no matter what he's done, he's still my father. And it doesn't help me to hear you talk about him, like you do sometimes. It just makes me feel bad. So I wish you wouldn't talk about him in a negative way. Please. Notice that you're not defending either parent, nor are you attacking them. You're making this all about you. You're just communicating that negative conversations interfere with your happiness. And if you take that approach, it's not likely that your parents will be angry at you. Deep down in their hearts, they already know that talking to you about each other is wrong. They really do. And they'll probably be embarrassed when you finally tell them how you feel. Now, it's true that during your conversation or later on another day, they might try to justify themselves and say some more negative things. But you just stick to what you've said. Repeat that you're uncomfortable hearing them talk about the other parent. And it's virtually certain that they'll stop. And you'll be glad you talked to them. Your parents really do want to love you. They just need a little reminder from you that what they're doing is hurting you. I don't think they fully understand the seriousness of what they're doing. You deserve to feel loved and happy, and this will help your parents give you what you need.